So I am someone who is challenging for me to talk on the phone. Like it is not my favorite thing in the world. And I have parents and family who likes to talk on the phone. I don't get it because what it feels like to me is that we're on the phone and we're just saying words at each other, but no one is really listening and communicating with each other. And maybe you also have boomer parents where I want to say I want to give grace because I know I'm going to be this person eventually, but I just don't understand why my mom and my dad needs to call me and tell me every single thing they did. Okay, they need to tell me what shoes the male person had on. They need to tell me that they went to go make 3 pieces of bacon, but they only had 2. They need to tell me that they were going to the Walmart and they usually, take this one road down, but that road was blocked off and they got construction, and so we got to go to the thing. And I know that this is a way that as humans we connect with one another. But at the same time, I'm like, we have been on the phone for 45 minutes. Okay, I just talked to you yesterday. And now we've been on the phone for 45 minutes for you to tell me all these details that my brain is like, what is happening? And then this is training. And I can't say that, right? Like you can't just be like, this is training me. I mean, you can, right? But I'm not at a place where I'm going to tell my Black parents that their conversation is draining me. But what I would notice is that after I would get off the phone with them, I would be so energetically drained, like emotionally drained, that I didn't have anything left over to do the work that was important to me. Right? So I would need a break. Like I would need to reward myself for being on the phone with them. But then after a while, I realized that I had all these things going on, had to take care of all these things, and I was running out of time and energy. And I would just tell myself, like, you need to stop being lazy, right? You need to be more consistent, right? You need to better time management. But it wasn't until I sat down and I really started sitting with, like, what is taking up my energy? Like, what is taking up my time? And I noticed that on the days where I talk to my family first thing in the morning, were the days that I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. Why am I telling you this? It's because today's question is, I'm juggling so much work, family, and this dissertation. I feel like I'm failing at everything. How do I make time for my dissertation without sacrificing everything else? And it made me think about talking to my family first thing in the morning. After sitting with this and realizing like, that's it, I was like, well, I do want to talk to them. Right. So that it's not an option to be like, I'm not going to talk to them because then that just makes them call more. The option then was, okay, I don't know if I'm necessarily, and I had tried to get on the phone and be like, okay, I got to go, to stop at 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Cause like saying goodbye is a whole process in itself. And so the other option I came up with or new rule is I don't talk to them first thing in the morning. In the beginning, they had a really hard time with this. They're like, why don't you pick up? And I called you, and I would feel guilty and I would make it mean like, oh, I must be a bad daughter, or, I'm not honoring my parents because I'm not, giving them what they want when they want it. I want to say it that way for somebody. I'm not giving them what they want when they want it. And I'm using these rules about, like, if I was really a good daughter, I would talk to them when they want to talk to me. But then that means I don't have any control over my own life or my decisions. And so instead, I told myself the truth that I do have control. But what I'm trying to fix, if you will, is them being disappointed or upset or frustrated with me because I want to talk to them first thing in the morning. And if I'm willing to just let them be frustrated or upset or disappointed that we're not talking in the morning, especially knowing that I'm going to talk to them later at night, if I just let them have whatever reaction they're going to have, then it'll work out. But it was about me getting to a place of being like, yep, it's okay that they're upset. Makes sense. They're not getting what they want. I don't need to demonize them, right? I don't need to make it out to be this big thing about how they don't respect my time and they don't care about what I have going on. It could be as simple as they get to be upset. And so for this person and for anybody who is listening and resonating with this, You feel like you're juggling so much because number one, you are. Let's just stop there. You are juggling so much. The question is why? Why are you juggling so much? Because there's a lot of people who are in similar situations who are not juggling as much. Why? I want you to go beyond the reasons the reasons of like, well, I'm the only one or I have to. No, but why are you choosing to? Because everything we're doing is a choice. Excuse me. Even if you feel like you don't have a choice, it's still a choice. So why are you juggling so much? Like, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to take care of your kids. There's plenty of people who do not go to work or take care of their kids. Why are you? If it's coming down to like, because I value taking care of my kids and going to work, okay, we got an answer. So why are you juggling so much? How do you know? It says, I feel like I'm failing at everything. How do you know that you're failing at everything? What is it that you expect to happen or you want to happen on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis? And what is happening instead? We need to know what you expect and versus what's actually happening so we can know what the gap is. So we can know what we're actually solving for. Right. The actual question is, how do I make time for my dissertation without sacrificing everything else? First, we need to know what is everything else? What is it that you don't want to sacrifice? Because you might find that the thing that you quote unquote don't want to sacrifice is things that you don't even really care about. Like when I do this exercise with clients, sometimes things will come up like, oh, I'm a part of this committee because a couple of years ago, I was filling in for someone who was sick and then I just never stopped filling in, right? It's something that is like a decision you made a while ago that no longer fits in with who you are today or your lifestyle today. So like some of these things, you just might be in the habit of doing it because you've always done it, but you haven't had much space or time to really consider, do I still want to do it? When it comes to key things like family and work, how much time are you spending on these things? All day. No, how much time are you actually spending on these things? Like, how much time are you actually at work? How much time are you actually interacting with your family or doing things for your family? Because some of y'all gonna be real shocked that you're spending more time thinking about work and family than you're actually interacting with them. Some of you are gonna realize that this is more emotional than it is factual. If it helps you, you might want to get out paper and like print out, go to Canva somewhere free and get one of those, like how they have the daily pages where it tells you it's broken up, like the schedule is broken up by hour. Some of you gonna need to do that, print it out for the week and see where's your time going. Because you're going to find you have more time than you think. I don't see this question as how do I make time for my dissertation without sacrificing everything else. I don't see this as a time management question. I see this as an energy management question. I see this as you are most likely doing things because you don't want other people to be disappointed in you, which is then draining you of your energy because you keep telling yourself and forcing yourself to do stuff you don't want to do. It's not a matter if you have time to do it, you don't want to do it. Like how much of your day, your week is filled with you doing things that you don't want to do. Now, it is human life that we're going to have to do things that we don't want to do. But that shouldn't be the majority of our days. And as a side note, and maybe this is not a conversation that you might be ready for, but your dissertation might be a thing you don't want to do. You may not want to become a doctor, but you're doing it because of how other people are going to view you. But that's a whole different episode. How much are you doing that you don't want to do? And what are some other options that you can use besides the way you're doing it now? Are there some ways that you can rearrange some things so that you still do the thing you don't necessarily want to do, but you do it at a time that it works better for you, right? Going back to my story with my parents, I still don't want to be on the phone every day. It doesn't mean anything about how I feel about them. I don't like being on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone, let alone for 45 minutes every day. No, I don't like it. But I do want to connect with them, and I do understand that that's the way that they prefer to connect. So instead of doing it every morning, I'll talk to them in the evening. It'll be how I end my workday. I will talk to them at 5, 6, or 7, and I'm still talking to them, but I'm doing it on a time or in a way that it works best for me. Some of you, it's going to be hard to take this episode, but if you're going to continue to push towards goals like becoming a doctor, if you're going to continue to do things that most people don't do, you're going to have to make decisions that most people don't make and that they're not going to understand and that they're not going to get. At first, my parents didn't get it. It wasn't for them to get, though. It was for me. Some of you are going to have to make quote unquote sacrifices because that's how much you believe in yourself and your goal. That's how much you want your goal. And if you can switch the sacrifice, meaning like, I'm just going to let other people be upset and disappointed, you'll start to see that differently. But sometimes there are going to be decisions where you decide to slow down your progress for that person or that thing. But it's about making those decisions with intentionality instead of thinking life is happening to you. No, you are deciding to let it be this way and not making a choice, avoiding is still you deciding. Do the work of sitting down and really seeing, where's my time and energy going? Do I like where my time and energy is going? And for the parts I don't like, how can I change it? How can I remove it? How can I reroute it? How can I reduce the energetic load that it's taking? That is simple to do, but it's going to be hard because it's going to force you to confront the decisions you've been making, the impact of those decisions and the consequences of those decisions. And that opens up a whole nother, can of worms. But that's my answer to that question. Let me know how that goes for you. And I will talk to y'all later.